But when the Lord opened up our minds and we understand that this is a wicked world, it's going to be destroyed. We see what's going on around the world, the total corruption, the total, infiltration of people's minds, especially Jake, the total debauchery and perverseness that's going on around the world. You get depressed. The more we learn, the more bitter it becomes. But it will be sweet in our mouth. Why? Because we know that the kingdom is for us. We know that there's a greater purpose for us than just being niggas and spicks and spooks and wetbacks and all and tontos. We know that we're a royal people. We know that we're the people of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the Israelites, Yasha Allah. We're kings, and princesses, in the kingdom of heaven. But what happened is look at the condition that we're in.
All right, Shalom. There's the brother Nahal, you're from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasher Allah. And a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwathium, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. There's Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 7. And it reads, "Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart." Now, Yahweh is the name of the one they ignorantly call God. Yahweh Shai is the name of the one they ignorantly call Jesus. Bahashem is in the name. Rakah is spirit. Kodash is holy. Akyam is brothers. Akwathium is sisters. Shalom means peace. And Yasher Allah is Israel in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew. All right, I want to go into a lesson through the spirit based on what you just saw, that clip of Elder Ramlab going into the balance, right? How it's sweet in your mouth, but it's bitter in your belly. All right. And the apostle explained it very beautifully, because when you get this truth, it is sweet in your mouth because you understand the promises, the blessings, why we're in this situation. But it becomes bitter when you realize the situation that we found ourselves in. All right. When you look at the world and the condition that the world is in. All right. That's why the scriptures are described as our comfort. All right. Because this truth comforts us in the midst of all of this destruction. All right. This is John chapter 15 and verse 26. "But when the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceedeth from the Father, he shall testify of me." All right. And this is how we have peace in Yahweh Shai. All right. John 16 and 33 reads, "These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world." Because when you look at the world and the condition that it's in, if you value integrity, if you actually value creation and life, being able to flourish in righteousness, the world we live in is disgusting. All right. And that's why you have to comfort your soul through the spirit with the scriptures. All right. That's why you have to continue to meditate upon those things that the Lord promised concerning what he plans on doing with this world, destroying this world and bringing to pass something far greater and more beautiful. Because when you look at the world in this condition and you read the Lord's intention for the world, it will create this form of depression, because it's a frustration. All right. There's a frustration when you look at the condition of our people, when you look at the condition of creation, and there is no power in your hand to do anything about it. That you literally have to take it and endure it day by day. Having to sit in a low place, having to serve your servants, having to serve your enemies. All of these things are a vexation of the spirit. And the Lord did that intentionally as a punishment. That's why the scriptures tell us to bear our indignation. All right. That's why it's supposed to be hard. All right. Whenever you go through those situations where you get extra down and out, understand it's supposed to be that way. That's the point of the scriptures reminding us to bear the indignation of the Lord, because there's a constant reminder that we're here for a reason, that this is not our rest, but we also have to bear the indignation of the Lord. Why? Because we sinned against him. Micah 7 and 9 reads, "I will bear the indignation of the Lord, because I have sinned against him, until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. And that's the balance, all right? The sweet part is that this situation is temporary for us as a nation of people, that there will come a time where we won't have to continue to endure this madness, that the Lord will cut the time and make it short and end this society and forward righteousness in the earth. But until that happens, we have to, with patience, wait for it. This is why the scriptures say hope that is seen is not hope. And the brothers down here, we describe it as peaks and valleys. All right. We all go through peaks and valleys at different times in this truth. All right. And the peaks can be described as those moments where you just feel high in the spirit. You have this joy in the spirit, and the Lord has increased that peace and joy in you. All right. Those are the high moments, so to speak, in this truth. Then you have those low moments, and we call those the valleys. When you have that, it seems like a rain cloud is over you, where you're just vexed in the spirit, where certain things are just harder to deal with on those days than other days. We call those the valleys. All right. When you go through those low moments and those low points in the truth, those are described as valleys. That's how we describe it down here. And when you're in those valleys, all right, looking at the condition of the world brings you into that point of depression almost. All right. It really does bring you into a form of depression. I won't even say almost, because you look at the condition of the world. You have to endure certain things in your own personal life that's a product of the curses. And then you have to endure it. And those are the low moments that we have when we think about the condition of the earth and how long, asking the Lord how long. Because we understand that we have to wait for the Lord to plead our cause, man. All right. But those things are a reminder. But yet we can't stay in those low points. All right. So I said that to say this, that we have to continue to meditate upon the good things and the comfort that's left in the scriptures. All right. That's why I love bringing this out in Romans, the 15th chapter, because Paul said this very beautifully. All right. Romans 15:4 reads, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience," all right, which goes into suffering. Patience is suffering, "and comfort of the scriptures might have hope." So he summed it up that the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we with patience might have what? Hope. So in those times when we get depressed, when we look at the condition of the world and we think about how bad it is and how we are actually in the worst case scenario, the scriptures give us comfort. When we look at what the Lord prophesied to happen upon his return, and we look at the world we're in, that gives us comfort and hope that we're closer than ever to the Lord ending this world. See, the world at large, the majority of the people on the planet, they're used to this condition. So there's no depression amongst them because they don't desire righteousness to flourish in the earth. They don't desire, and they don't believe that it will. They believe that all things will continue as they were from the beginning. So there's no form of deep depression with the majority of these people because they love this world. They're of this world. That's why scriptures describe those who are of the world would love its own. So the majority of these people don't experience the same form of depression that those who understand this truth do. You have these people in the world who may be depressed over a girl, maybe depressed over a job, maybe depressed over a financial situation. But it's rare that you have people who are depressed over the overall state of the planet and the overall state of our people, man. The average Negro, Latino, or Native American suffering under this condition, all right, and the animals and the creation itself being subject to this bondage. That creates an entirely different type of depression because there's no power in our hand to do anything about it. We have to just endure it. There's Ecclesiastes chapter 4. All right. And I want to start at the very top. And it reads, "So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun. And behold, the tears of such as were oppressed. And they had no comforter. And on the side of their oppressors, there was power, but they had no comforter." All right. We don't have power to physically do anything against this society. All right. To forward righteousness. The only thing we have is this truth and the declaration of the truth. Which is why brothers say this is the highest office that you can have as an Israelite man on the earth, because our only weapon at this point is truth. And cursed be he that holdeth back his sword from blood. And there's no power in our hand, but we have to endure the indignation of the Lord, because the Lord took the power out of our hand. Because without the Heavenly Father, we have no power. But the prophecies tell us that the Lord will, in due season, remove this current rulership and set up something that's actually profitable. This society is not profitable, not only for our people, but for the world at large, for creation at large. And when you think about the scope of how bad it actually is, the water, the food, the animals, it leads you down a very dark path. And that's why there's balance in this truth, right? The Lord tells us about how bad it is, but he also gives us the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, by reminding us that this is a temporary situation, that there will come a time where peace and truth will flourish in the earth, man. That's what we desire. Bear with me 1 second. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 6. And I'm going to jump down to verse 28. And it reads, I'll start at 27. For evil shall be put out. All right, that's not negotiable. The Lord said it shall be put out. And deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. And truth, and the truth which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And that's the time that we desire. We desire to see truth flourish in the earth, man. All right, we desire to see peace flourish in the earth. All right, we desire to see righteousness flourish in the earth. And that's something that you don't see in this present world. You see corruption, you see vanity. All right. All the things that when you go into Wisdom of Solomon, the 14th chapter, describes a world that's ruled under idolatry. And we desire that the Lord bring about righteousness and that it flourish in the earth and the abundance of peace flourish in the earth. People have normalized wickedness and destruction and even glorified it. That's why scriptures say so great plagues called they peace. And when you think about how bad it is, it will bring you into that dark place. But you have to balance that out with the comfort of the scriptures, where the Lord told us that it's not negotiable. Evil shall be put out. Deceit shall be quenched. And there will come a time where those who understood this truth and declared it will not be crazy, man. In this world, when you stand up for truth, you're looked at and viewed as crazy, as abnormal, as outcasted. In a world full of deceit and wickedness, where there will come a time where things will be turned right side up. And those who have held forth and held fast to this truth, all right, are going to be seen as lights shining under Yahweh Shai. But because light is as darkness and darkness is as light in this world, those who proclaim truth are outcasted. And that in itself will give you a form of depression. You know, the world, we're still human. We're still in this flesh. So, of course, we desire to be at one with our family, at one with our people. All right. To have peace, to have a long life, and to have children and a family. We desire those things as well. But we understand that on this side, it's tainted. And when you understand that, if you meditate on it too long, it'll bring you to a low point. But the comfort of the scriptures was left here for a reason, man. That in the world we might have tribulation. We will have tribulation. But in Yahweh Shai we have peace, because we have what? Peace of mind. That this isn't our permanent condition. This is a pit stop on the way to our final destination. That, Lord willing, we be a part of that number, salvation. We will be able to witness the salvation of Yahweh by Shema Shai and the transition from wickedness to righteousness, man. The Lord didn't just make the earth for it to be ran in wickedness forever and then the end. That's how Esau paints the picture, because he doesn't want the world to be ruled without him. If he can't rule it, nobody should have it. That's his mentality. But contrary to popular belief, the world was not created just to be ran in wickedness and then destroyed. Isaiah 45:18 reads, "For thus saith the Lord that created the heavens, Yahweh Shema Shai himself, that formed the earth and made it. He hath established it. He created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. I am the Lord, and there is none else." So the Lord created the world to be inhabited, to be enjoyed in righteousness. Having liberty to destroy yourself is not freedom, contrary to popular belief. Having a society that's set up to where you benefit, the average citizen of the world, the average person on the planet benefits greatly, is how the world can be inhabited. Right now, the world is ran wickedly. So the average person on the planet is going through famine, poverty. In the kingdom of heaven, you're going to have levels to abundance, but the average person on the planet in the kingdom of heaven is going to live far better than the average person on the planet right now in this rulership. That's the comfort. That's the joy that we have through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. And we have to continue to balance that out. You have to, and I'll say this too through the spirit. All right, for those who are on this journey, you have to balance this out. All right, you have to balance this out. You have to continue to meditate upon the comfort that the Lord has left us as well, not just the doom and gloom. All right, you have to have just as much faith in the salvation as you have in the judgment. This is important for your walk. All right, this is why I love touching this scripture, because we all have to regulate ourselves through the spirit and make sure that we're balancing ourselves out. All right, this world will vex you to the point of madness. I mean that. This world and the condition that the world is in will vex you to the point of madness, and for some to the point of no return. That's why you have to balance yourselves out. And I say that to myself first and foremost, because a lot of times we get into that woe is me, or you start thinking about the worst case scenario. Then you add on top of that the condition of the world, and it's just a downward spiral. And we have to balance ourselves out with the joy that's left in the scriptures, because it's not all doom and gloom. Everything that's coming upon the planet is for the wicked. It's not for those who trust in Yahweh Shema Shai. It's for the wicked. We have to remember that, man. And I say that to myself first and foremost. All right, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 30 and verse 21. Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel. The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. Love thine own soul and comfort thy heart. And a part of loving your own soul and comforting your heart is meditating on the best case scenario. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good. This is something I love to say through the spirit continually, because I feel like it's important, especially for those who carry this message, who carry this truth. All right. Scriptures describe it as the burden of the word of the Lord. You have to balance yourself out with the joy that's left in the scriptures. The Lord saying that he will rejoice over the righteous in their pilgrimage towards salvation, their struggle and their strife as they try to offend less. The Lord will rejoice over that. And we're so used to the negative that we don't put ourselves in a position to receive the positive. That's why it's a balance. And it's beautiful how Apostle Ramlal put it, because he gave both the balance of it. Because, I love what the Lord did with creation, man. I think about it a lot. How everything in the world in detail is so beautiful. How the Lord set up life and how you see it flourish through different seasons, summer, spring, fall. How certain things, the cycle of life. I love it, man. I love what the Lord did with creation. And then to see it handled in this terrible condition. When you look at animals, the scripture said a righteous man have a care for his beast. You think about the slaughterhouses and the animals that you see videos of them crying before they're about to get slaughtered, because they know what's about to happen. Whereas we were taught to kill our animals in a way where they didn't see it coming, so they wouldn't have that type of fear. That's a torture for an animal, man. And when you think about how bad it actually is, the food, the water, our people, man, being strung out on drugs, being spiritually drugged, broken homes. When you think about all of that, man, it puts you in a very, very low place. It make you angry, and then it make you upset because you have no power. I remember the elder Raquar Kwam said this. He said that frustration is the lack of ability or strength to control your situation. As a nation, we have no control over what's going on to us. We have to take it. And as men of the nation of Israel, that's a hard pill to fucking swallow. Excuse my French. Because you want to be able to do something about it, even if it's a little bit. But this is all we can do about it, is declare this truth. And that's moving more than we can anticipate, more than we actually understand. When the scriptures talk about faith moving mountains. And that's why we have to balance this out with loving and comforting our soul with the scriptures, with a reminder that there is joy in the midst of this destruction. Continuing, it says, verse 23, Ecclesiastes 30 and 23, love thine own soul and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee, for sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit therein. Man, being in the flesh is tough. It's easier said than done. Some days are worse than others. All right. Yet through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, we have a balance because the Lord did give us this truth. And while we do see the world in this condition, all right, the scriptures tell us marvel not. Don't even trip because the Lord is in control. All right. This is Ecclesiastes 5 and 8. If thou seest the oppression of the poor and violent perverting of judgment, which we do see, injustice in the province, marvel not at the matter. For he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. So while we are frustrated to a certain degree, the scriptures tell us don't even trip. The king is coming home, man. The king is coming home, man. Shiloh is coming home, man. And for most people, this seems far-fetched. All right. For most people, this is a fantasy, but it's true. Hamashiach coming, bro. And all of the things that we're frustrated about, how much more so what's going on upstairs? What's going on in the king in heaven? The day of vengeance burneth in the heart of Hamashiach, man. And while we do get frustrated because we have no power to control this or do anything about this, Hamashiach is coming to deliver. And that balances it out, man. That takes all of the woe is me out of the equation because you understand that the Lord is coming to fix this, man. Pops is sending big bro and this shit gonna get squashed ASAP. So Lord willing, this was edifying. Salakia for being long-winded. But man, you know, Apostle Aramlab said a mouthful with that. And it's so beautiful because it is a balance. And it's a reminder that you're not the only one, all right? Whenever we hit them low moments, the flesh will trick you into believing you're the only one that think like that. When you see what's going on in the world and you get upset, man, because you have no control over it. And then you just watching life just be destroyed, man. And for those who value creation, for those who love the Lord's creation and love the Lord by witnessing his creation and just being amazed at the Lord's creation, to look at it be mishandled. If you meditate on that too long, man, it'll take you to a dark place, man. And that's why we have to continue to balance ourselves out with the comfort. Because again, it's sweet in our mouth and it's bitter in our belly because we have to wait. But the sweetness of it is that we're not niggas. We're not slaves. The world is not just going to be ran in wickedness forever. The one the world ignorantly calls Jesus is coming back. Yahweh Shai is coming back and he's coming to deliver and set the world in order. And the scriptures say that abundance of peace will flourish in the earth then, man. Righteousness will flourish. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yashar Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwathim, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.